What's going on, everybody? This is dkdynamite, and today we're going to be talking about a huge update on Season 2, Infinity Ward's response to the delay, and even more. Definitely stay tuned. But before we jump into that, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below, drop a like, and let me know down below in the comment section, how does it make you feel that we have to wait just around a month for the next season inside of Modern Warfare 2? Are you guys going to be patient and still play the game until then, or are you going to drop the game for a little bit until some actual DLC finally comes out inside of multiplayer, Warzone, DMZ, whatever the case is? Let me know how you guys are feeling. But it was also said today that exactly 1 year after announcing their intention to buy Activision Blizzard for $69 billion, Microsoft today announced they are laying off 10,000 employees. In comparison, Activision Blizzard has over 10,000 employees. So is that a huge correlation there? Are they saying, hey, we're going to buy Activision, but as a result of that, we have to drop a lot of our core Microsoft employees to make up for that cost? I wonder if that's related whatsoever. There's probably no coincidence here, but also let me know your thoughts on this down below. Now, Infinity Ward also went ahead and confirmed this week inside of Modern Warfare 2, shipment 24/7 and tier 1 shipment are in the mix. Cyber Attack is there, as well as the CDL Mosh Pit. We also have for Warzone 2, Mini Royale trios, no third-person BR, but we do have quads, trios, duos, and even solos for the regular Battle Royale first-person playlist. Now, with that being said, we don't have any mention yet of Shoot the Ship, a playlist that was promised for Season 1. I guess they're saving it for the very last minute of the season. It'll probably end up going live next week then. It was going to go live this week, at least to my understanding, but considering Season 2 did get delayed, they're going to push things back just a little bit. And I'm also curious what the brand new bundle schedule is also going to be for the remainder of this current season. I'll make a separate video talking more about that when we do learn more information. Now, also be sure to check out dammods.com for the safest Modern Warfare 2 services, such as assistance with Orion Camo or even bot lobbies. This works on all platforms, PlayStation, Xbox, and even PC, and is trusted by thousands of customers. Trustpilot even has some excellent reviews for Dammods as well, which you can check out with the link down below in this video's description. Now, we then got the following statement from Infinity Ward earlier this evening regarding the delay of Season 2. Season 2 will be launching on February 15th. Our studio teams have been making several changes based on what we have heard from our player community. Season 2 includes all new content with the return of Resurgence and a brand new small map for Warzone 2.0. That's probably applying to both Resurgence and of course DMZ, as previous leaks did suggest. Ranked play is also back and coming to Modern Warfare 2, along with new multiplayer maps, new modes, weapons, and much more. Stay tuned for additional intel. Now, it was also mentioned that the actual blog post detailing what's going on with Season 2 is going to come out at some point next week. I'll be covering that here on the channel, of course, but this is definitely better communication than what we've gotten over the last couple of weeks from Infinity Ward. It's some type of transparency. I mean, hey, as I've always said, I'd much rather than delay a season if it means that content will be stronger, more balanced, stabilized, marketed better. I'd rather have that instead of dropping the season on February 1st with missing content or lack of communication, weird marketing, unfinished blog posts with wrong images. I'd rather them push things back. Anytime they do that, it usually means the season is going to drop with a very healthy amount of content that's marketed correctly. You guys probably agree with that, but I think it's the fact that Season 1 has felt like it's dragged on far too long. Reloaded was great, but that was about a month ago, and I think a lot of us speculated there could have been some type of minor update dropped in January before Season 2 ended up dropping in February. Maybe a Cold War scenario where there's essentially two big mid-season updates. I mean, that was great to see, but Modern Warfare 2 has sold more than Black Ops Cold War, is arguably more successful to some capacity, right? Obviously it doesn't have zombies, but Modern Warfare 2 is that big of a game and broke nearly every record for the franchise, but is somehow getting less content, less communication, less marketing. I mean, it just doesn't really make much sense. Now, aside from that, we also have confirmation from Treyarch CM that they'll be sharing more details about ranked play closer to launch, but that the launch date of ranked play is still going to be the beginning of Season 2, so February 15th. Now, if the season ended up dropping on February 1st, maybe there would have been some delays with the ranked play. There could have been delays with the Resurgence map even, so them getting an extra 2 weeks to work on this new DLC is the best route in my opinion. I mean, they're also making up for lost time in a sense, since they were on holiday break for a good 2.5 weeks. So it's making up for that, which I do agree with, but I think even Charlie Intel has made it clear that it would have made more sense to drop Season 1 just without Warzone 2, or maybe drop Season 1 with just the Battle Royale, then Reloaded could have been when they introduced us to DMZ, so that would have been some extra content to keep us going and wouldn't have made Season 1 feel as long as it has felt. I mean, that would have made more sense to spread things out a little bit better, but for some reason, there was type of motivation behind the scenes to drop everything as soon as possible, which I respect to some extent, but at least having split up more of the content between the launch of the season and then Reloaded would have probably made more sense for the longevity of Season 1. Now, Charlie Antle took it a bit further by saying that it almost feels like Activision should have just released Warzone 2 with Season 2 in February instead of rushing it out in November for sales or revenue to look good in Quarter 4. Obviously, it was a financial motivation to end up dropping Warzone 2 when they did. I once again completely understand that. Not that I agree with it, but I understand it. However, if they would have saved Warzone 2 for Season 2, it would have been a bit more poetic in a way because, yeah, Season 2 and then Warzone 2, haha, you get it, the twos match up there, would have made for some good marketing on top of the fact that releasing Warzone 2 around the 3-year anniversary of Warzone 1 probably also makes a little bit more sense. Obviously, Warzone 1 came out in March of 2020, but hey, releasing Warzone 2 in like early February, so just under 3 years from the 3-year anniversary of Warzone 1, that would have made a lot more sense. But the problem with that too is, could the base content inside of Modern Warfare 2 alone have kept people going that long? That's a big question mark there, because look at MW19, for example. The game came out, it was in a pretty rough state. People out there didn't really respond well to the list of multiplayer maps or the modes or some of the core mechanics and gameplay. And Season 1 came out, didn't even have a Reloaded. It had a refreshment in a way with a couple of additional items that were promised in the original roadmap, but that got stale really quickly. The community just wasn't having it. Things didn't ramp up very well for MW19 cycle until Season 2, not just because of Warzone, but multiplayer also got that much better with that season, with better 66 maps being added into the mix. We look at this reminder from the Ghost of Hope as to what quality of life changes came to Warzone with Season 2.5 or Season 2 Reloaded back during Vanguard's life cycle. You were able to drop gas masks, drop armor satchels, show how many plates it has, can pick up armor plates from satchels even if you already have a satchel, improvements to parachuting, pick up or drop an armor satchel if it's already owned, ability to pick up and drop a gas mask, ability to control your resurrect state, crouch or prone when down, nerfs to gas canisters. Not that we don't have some of these features already inside of Warzone 2, but it's a bit of an example of what we'll probably end up seeing in terms of quality of life changes inside of Warzone 2 with Season 2. You know, aside from just a new Gulag and a new small map and Resurgence, also being able to see some huge changes to the HUD and the movement and some of the mechanics that should be in Warzone 2 that were just added to Warzone 1 during Vanguard cycle. Adding all that back in with Raven in charge, that's going to make a big difference. It will probably change up the Warzone 2 ecosystem as we know it. So expect changes like that when the season does begin. Nothing too massive, but big enough to where it really improves how the community responds to Warzone 2's core gameplay. Now, with them confirming that we're going to be seeing a new Gulag and then looting and loadout changes, that's exciting, but it just begs the question, right? Is that because of Raven's leadership, them kind of walking back on decisions that Infinity Ward for some reason made with Warzone 2 that Raven wouldn't have made if they were in charge, but now that they are in charge, they're going to walk back on those things to make the ecosystem of Warzone 2 more like where Warzone 1 kind of left off with Caldera and Fortune's Keep. A lot of big changes coming, which I'll be covering, of course, in separate videos here on the channel. What's also funny is when Kessoff went ahead and tweeted, "You cannot make this up," on January 19th, 2022, Vanguard Season 2 was delayed from February 2nd to February 14th to fix issues in content. On January 18th, 2023, about a year later, Modern Warfare 2 Season 2 was delayed from February 1st to February 15th to fix issues and add content. Have Activision executives not learned anything? So I'm not going to be disrespectful or toxic. I'm keeping it real with you guys, though. It's really confusing to see Modern Warfare 2 follow in Vanguard's footsteps this much. I mean, if anything, it didn't even have a Christmas roadmap or that big of a Christmas update, so Vanguard still has one up from Modern Warfare 2, but you would at least think that Modern Warfare 2 would follow Cold War's footsteps, because as I talked about before, I'm not going to go into it again deeply in this video, but Cold War set the standard for how a post-launch season should look, and that wasn't even Treyarch's game to begin with, and it was made during a pandemic. So what happened with Modern Warfare 2's post-launch season, a game that had 3 years of development put into it, no real issues in between where they had to, you know, shuffle things around the studio or have a different studio take over? Nothing really major happened aside from COVID, but even then, Modern Warfare 2 should have had the strongest launch with the strongest Season 1 and then possibly even 2 mid-season updates, but it somehow didn't. It's the game that you would have thought would have kickstarted what it really means to enter COD 2.0, to take all of the good from the last 3 years, MW19, Cold War, and Vanguard, put that all together and have the most solid launch experience possible. Now, it's not to say that I don't like the game. I really do enjoy the game, and the potential is incredible, but it almost seems like the communication and marketing and the scheduling in the DLC, if anything, has been multiple steps down from what we got in Cold War and Vanguard, which doesn't make any sense whatsoever. whatsoever. But I think this is going to be a MW19 situation where Season 2 truly kicks off the post-launch season. Season 1, in my opinion, did in terms of the raid and DMZ, but in regards to multiplayer and Warzone, I don't think anybody out there could suggest that Season 1 kickstarted a strong post-launch cycle for those two modes. But overall, right, going back to the whole COD 2.0 dilemma, the thing is, if this is what it means to enter COD 2.0, if this is what is reflected by COD 2.0, then people out there are probably very concerned right now with what that means for future Call of Duties to come and how those upcoming Season 1s and Season 2s are going to end up looking, when if anything, you would have thought they would have taken some notes out of Treyarch's book with the way they did Cold War post-launch content. I just don't know, man. I think right now it's concerning to see where COD 2.0 is at, but I do believe when Season 2 finally comes out with some actual new content, some huge changes that are needed, and the Warzone mobile integration happens later in the spring, then it'll start to feel like COD 2.0 is really beginning. But as of right now, people out there are definitely a bit afraid. But that is about it. This has been dkdynamite. Leave our thoughts down below in the comment section. What are your thoughts on Infinity Ward's response to the delay of Season 2? Are you happy it's getting delayed, and are you happy with the content they have confirmed as of today? Really hope you've enjoyed, and peace out, everybody.